Welcome back. We're on part 2 now, and that means it's time for the hot tags. We got a couple to talk about this week. First off, Conor O'Brien, NXT wrestler, Ascension, that whole kind of deal. The rat guy, you might know him better as. Just got married to Krissy Vaine, one of the former women's wrestlers in WWE, so congrats to them. Not really too much to talk about there, but I like to talk about positive things. So, yay, I guess.
Yay!
Yay!
You know, at least it's better. At least it's better to hear about two people in wrestling getting married than another person dying or something.
Well, marriage is kind of like death, so it's pretty much the same thing. I'm joking.
But we'll move right on to a potential death thing. Dusty Rhodes got hospitalized, and this is so Dusty Rhodes. He got hospitalized for a snake bite.
Yes, he did. You don't understand them snakes, baby. They just come out of nowhere.
And it was my pet snake, Sapphire.
Okay, you should see the snake.
Yeah.
The atomic elbow did that shit, and it ain't a snake no more.
I love, by the way...
Listen, man, if Randy Savage can survive a snake bite, Dusty Rhodes will be fine.
I love how pwupdate.net, I usually don't throw out other wrestling websites, but the way that they dubbed the article, Dusty Rhodes jobs to snake bite over the weekend.
Hey, at least he jobbed to somebody.
And it's completely Dusty to tweet out with infection in left foot, snake bite. Just all exclamation points, like he's happy about it.
I turned that snake into snakeskin boots, baby. Oh, yeah.
I bet before the snake bit him, he was going, nah, baby, this foot ain't for you.
Yeah.
For you.
Oh,
that's for somebody else, baby. That's for somebody else.
He says, when I say snake bite, it's a old Texas saying, I get over one thing, then something else happens, snake bite. Why, what the...
Pretty much WWE booking.
It's gonna bring back Jake the Snake Roberts. They're gonna have a feud.
At least it's not as bad as the polka dots, baby.
To be fair, I wouldn't mind seeing Jake back. Jake's doing pretty well, actually. If you've seen the,
I don't want to see Jake back on the roster.
No, dude, I'm serious. Have you seen like the videos him and DDP have been posting? He's actually doing really well. Like, I'm legitimately surprised given how bad he's been over the past few years. DDP's been really like transforming him.
Yeah, him and Scott Hall in general, they stopped walking around like they're on death's door. They seem healthier, they seem happier, and apparently Jake's going to have one more run. So we'll see.
All hail the Lord and Savior, Diamond Dallas Page.
Oh hail!
Isn't that weird how WWE can send people to rehab like 10 different times, doesn't do anything. They go to DDP's house and they're fine.
I'm waiting. You know what? I'm waiting for VH1 to give DDP a camera and just have him film all of this stuff. Who wouldn't want to see a rehab show starring DDP, Jake Roberts, and Scott Hall?
I've got a funny feeling that's what he's doing. This is all sort of a prelude to something bigger that he's going to be doing, a bigger project. Which, look, at the end of the day, as long as Jake and Scott look and feel better, that's the main thing. Whatever DDP wants to do with this, it's totally up to him. As long as those guys are happier and healthier.
They can make a series out of it, and every season they bring in new guys like Marty Jannetty, Sonny.
Marty Jannetty fails.
Jannetty's he's beyond help. So not so Sonny.
Two other problems going on. We have Fandango, of course, everybody knows by now, received a concussion, and he's out for an Intercontinental Championship match, but also Tamina has a concussion. So there, what's that, like 5 concussions that have happened in the past couple weeks?
You're putting that with the Great Khali, and then she botches. Honestly. She's probably trying to do that chop. Hiya!
I don't know what's going on, but they're really like...
Well, is it that the fact that they're happening more often, or the fact that we're just becoming alert to it more often? Because, this recent concussion kick that they've been on, I mean, I bet a lot of these guys before that just played through the pain, and,
I'm actually going to agree with Brandon on that one. I think as of late, they've just been, especially since Triple H has been taking over the wellness center down in Orlando, I think that they're just cracking down more and more on it. Because from what I've heard, Fandango can come back. He did the impact testing. He passed. They're just keeping him off the pay-per-view just to play it safe. But he could technically come back.
The thing about it is they're doing it the smart way. Because before they weren't giving him much, they wouldn't put much stock in talent. in terms of if someone's out, they work through it. Enough said. Nowadays, because of all the injuries, because of a lot of the wrestlers, who were from the old era passing on due to complications that they had due to injuries and, addictions and stuff like that, I think this is a good way to go. You're protecting your talent, you're investing in your future in hopes that, these guys are okay, and it's a good thing. And kudos to WWE for looking after the people that matter, the wrestlers, so they can keep fighting and we can keep seeing them on TV.
It's only taken them 8 years? I mean, when did the wellness policy start? 05? And even then, they didn't really get serious about concussions and stuff like that until after the tragedy. I mean, and I agree with you, Burhan. I just wish they would have done it much sooner, because how many talents have died? Let's just even keep it to post wellness policy that have died because of their misdoings, because they were very lax when it comes to taking care of their talent.
But the thing is, you can't just blame the WWE. You have to blame talent as well. It was their choice.
Right.
And I've always said this about people saying to me, because I've talked to a load of old wrestlers, especially when I was on the road, and when I used to go to conventions and stuff as well, and they would all say the same thing. I was afraid of losing my spot. Now, the fact that you're afraid of losing your spot and afraid of being the guy who gets that level, but it's gonna damage you. It's gonna cost you a lot. It happened to Shawn Michaels with his various addictions that we went over. It happened to a guy like Jannetty. It happened with guys who are under Hogan and Hogan's era, and it's not that sort of thing that you need to cost your life for, because in the end, if you're gonna end up getting to the point where it's life and death, you need to either get out of the business or sort yourself out. And that's the biggest thing, because there's opportunity for everyone, and there's opportunity for everyone to make money. And in the end, if you're doing something right, if you are a great worker, and it shows with guys like Daniel Bryan, for instance, who everyone sort of pegged as the guy that no one thought was going to be over in the WWE. He's in various different spots, and if he gets injured, he's going to go out, nurse his injury, and come back. And that's the best way to be. If it's life and death, you can't sit there and say to yourself, oh, it's the WWE's fault.
We got two other hot tags. One of them is about that new performance center that everybody's talking about. That they're going to revamp the. I guess they're going to revamp NXT too, or is that kind of separately?
They're going to do it's apparently it's like a finishing center. So they're still going to have the Florida location, and then they're going to have the finishing center for guys who are on they're sort of at the level where they're going to be called up to the roster, but they're going to learn some of the stuff that they're going to need to do on WWE TV.
Well, this is like a talent review system is what we're hearing about, that they want to create a couple new jobs through that, and that is kind of I don't know if I'm kind of like jumping the gun here, but to me it sounded like they wanted to break down groups of people and have people responsible for going like, oh, you're talented, and then they kind of report to other people. And if they don't micromanage enough to do that, and they just kind of, you take like a Bill DeMott and go like, oh, is this guy good? And he's like, no. All right, well then we won't even take a look at him. If they do that, then that's going to be terrible. If they don't, and I'm just misinterpreting that, then that's a completely different story. But this is of course my speculation, so don't take that to heart.
It gives them a chance to view everybody, and I don't think they look at guys like DeMott and say, is so-and-so okay to get over? Because now they look at everybody, and they send guys down to developmental to view them. They send agents. Sometimes even Vince and Trips himself goes down there to take a look at talent. So there's always someone down there taking a look and seeing and evaluating talent. And if DeMott's sitting there 9 times out of 10 telling you that this guy's not ready, but yet you've got a guy like Kevin Nash who comes down and says this guy's going to make money, Triple H is going to probably listen to Nash over DeMott any time, any occasion. Sorry, I'm just getting bothered here. One sec.
Well, it all depends. I think in a case like that, that's why they've got more than one agent down there. I mean, you've got obviously DeMott, I think, and I think Billy Gunn's also a head trainer down there. I think a few others are down there, so you get different perspectives when it comes to what who believes this guy could be money. As far as the actual system, I'm happy because it shows to me that they're putting more effort into it. Because you hear about those late 2000s, the way they did FCW back then when they were just transferring from OVW to FCW, and that system was completely broken. I mean, they didn't put any effort into the budget. They were just bringing guys up whenever, they had no plan when it comes to their developmental system. And you could tell. I mean, that run of late 90s talent kind of just came and went. So the fact that they're putting more effort into how they're going to bring guys up, how they're going to condition their wrestlers, it just means we're going to get more guys like the Wyatt family, like the Shield, like Curtis Axel, much
And
more
That's
ready
another
for
thing as well. Sorry, Miguel, but that's another thing that what you've just reiterated there. The fact is, Triple H has always stated that he's not going to bring someone up unless they have something for this person to do, and that's exactly why you're seeing such high tier talent coming up into the roster.
Well, there's one weird little hot tag left. WWE is looking to trademark Torlito and Torito, which apparently mean little bull in Spanish. My first thought, and I pray to God that they don't do this, is that they give a mask to Hornswoggle.
Oh, I immediately thought the minis when I heard that. Like I could picture that being two little masked midget wrestlers going around, and causing mischief, or like I said, if they really do bring back the minis.
I'm getting worried that they're thinking that they can switch Hornswoggle to a little masked character, and because we've been hearing constant stuff about that they want more mask sales, and that
I'm okay with there being a little bull as long as he's fighting a little lion.
No. He's got to be fighting a little matador. They got to find another midget to come out with a matador hat and a red cape.
Listen, I don't think you caught my reference though. I was saying he fights a little lion, as in Tyrion Lannister.
Hashtag Game of Thrones reference.
Oh,
if we could seriously get Peter Dinklage involved in a wrestling angle, and it was like you brought back a minis division, but it was all centered around Peter Dinklage, that would be awesome.
There you go. There's the answer to the monthly mailbag question: which celebrity should be in wrestling? Peter Dinklage.
You can't get Peter Dinklage.
And then they could have the King of the Ring again, but then it could become the Game of Thrones.
Speaking of Peter Dinklage, going to throw a Fanboys Anonymous reference out there. I've always said, for those who are comic book fans, that he should totally play MODOK. And if you agree with that, sound off in the comments. That kind of knocks out the hot tags. Anybody else have anything that went along this week that you want to kind of throw out there?
I just want to say, as far as the little bull thing, it makes sense to me because Hornswoggle still, even though he's not doing the leprechaun gimmick, still sells merchandise just as good as most of the other talents, if not better. So to want to give him a gimmick that's already preconditioned to sell merchandise to somebody who already on his own sells merchandise, it doesn't surprise me. It's not something I want to see on TV every single day, but it is what it is, and from a business perspective, I guess I can agree with it.
I just want to mention one other thing too that wasn't mentioned at all, and I'm actually surprised. I don't believe it came up at all when we had our big talk about concussions. Dolph Ziggler finally returned this week.
Yeah.
And he lost.
Well,
finally has to start earning me some points. Damn it.
He put Big E, didn't he, in a match, or was this from SmackDown?
SmackDown. Him and Big E were in a tag match against Daniel Bryan and Del Rio, I think. Random tag match. Tag match, playa.
Well,
Yeah. Turn this into a tag match. Play, holla, holla.
Didn't Ryan wrestle in the main event against the Shield?
Maybe he wrestled twice. I don't know.
That guy's wrestling. He's like a wrestling machine.
I could be wrong. I don't know. I don't watch SmackDown.
I still say a Dolph Ziggler Daniel Bryan feud would be money.
Me too.
That would not only be money. Think of the matches, man.
So that'll knock out the hot tags for this week. Part 3 coming up. We're going to go right into the payback predictions, and we're going to start with what they're now calling the kickoff instead of the pre-show, which that's a little bit odd, but it kind of fits a little better. So we're going to kick that off with Sheamus and Damian Sandow.